talk about. We should already have Amy's coordinate points and your coordinate points. What are the coordinate points for Amy's house? 8, comma, negative 1. Remember, it's always x, comma, y for coordinate points. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the right, which is why 8 is what kind of number?
Positive.
Positive. We went 1 down, which is why the 1 is
Negative.
negative. We get on
My
that?
friend's house.
Huh?
Amy.
It's Amy's.
Oh, okay.
Your house up here. I'm going to the left 2, and then I'm going up 5. We all good there? Now this is where I need you to pay attention, because this is what's going to teach you the distance formula, but you need to pay attention to this. How could you use the coordinates to calculate the distance as the crow flies from your house to Amy's house? Once again, when we did the distance earlier, what theorem did we use? The Pythagorean theorem, right? And we said c squared was equal to 6 squared plus 10 squared. We all remember that? Yes? I want you to look at these coordinate points. Does anyone see a place where we can find a distance of 6? Looking maybe either at the x or at the y. Does anyone see a distance of 6?
No. Oh, the Y.
No.
The Y.
Say it again.
Do we see anywhere either looking at the x or looking at the y a distance of 6?
X.
I hear y from several people. Okay, would someone who said y care to share y? That's not what I meant to do, but I did. London,
No, I believe it's X.
you believe it's x? Why do you think it's x?
8 minus negative 2 is 6.
Let's look at that again. That's an important thing to think about. What is 8
negative
minus
2.
negative 2?
10.
No, it is because you can change that to positive.
So that'd be 8 plus 2, which is
10.
that 6 though?
No.
No? But did that 10 show up anywhere?
Wait,
Yes,
negative
that
2
was
plus 8.
10 right there. It's one of them.
Oh,
Do you see that 10 right there?
Oh,
It's
you would change that
square.
maybe.
Okay, so instead of doing just a squared plus b squared, and so I'm actually going to rewrite this to match what we're saying now. 10 squared plus 6 squared. What we did then was c squared was equal to 8 minus negative 2, and that was being what?
What?
Squared. We go with that? That's where our 10 squared is coming from? Any questions?
Is that the
We put that on number.
We're almost done. We're not done with it yet. Okay? How could you use the coordinates to calculate the distance as the crow flies? Well, to get this 10 here, couldn't I do 8 minus negative 2?
Yeah.
Yes? We good with that? Okay. So then how could I have gotten the 6? Notice I've already used the negative 2 and the 8. Where did that 6 come from?
negative 1 minus 5? No, 3.
Would that give me 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close. What does it actually give?
Negative 6.
Gives me negative 6, but what happens when I square a negative 6? It becomes positive. So is it okay for this to be negative?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I still need to square it. C squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. This is exactly how we can find the distance formula. This is where the distance formula comes from, okay? So what I want you to notice is, thinking back to what we did with slope, how did we calculate slope again? At the end, what was the new formula we learned? You already knew rise, divide by run. What was the new one we did?
Y2
Y2?
minus divided by x2 minus x1.
That was the new one we just learned, wasn't it? Okay, right here, that 8, is that an x or is that a y? That's an x, isn't it? So could I make this x2?
No. Yes.
I mean, could that be this, the x value of the second point?
Yes.
Is that an x value?
Yes.
Could that be the second point?
Yes.
Yes. Am I subtracting another x value? Yes. Could it be of the first point?
Yes.
Okay, so using this notation, by the way, really quickly, what variable do you think we're going to use to represent distance usually? D would make sense, right?
Mhm.
So then the distance squared is equal to x sub,
8.
What are we like?
it wasn't 8 here, but remember we said that is the x value of which point?
It's where? Second.
Say it again. As the x value of the second point, so x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Nope. What are we doing to x sub 2 minus x sub 1?
We're adding it.
We're squaring, because what is all this built on? What theorem? Pythagorean theorem, right? So, hey, you might want to get, as the crow flies out, you know, the thing that's up on the board. It'll help you learn. So, what am I doing to x2 minus x1? I'm squaring it, because where's it coming from? Pythagorean theorem, okay, so squared plus, because remember it's a squared plus b squared, so plus
Plus y2 minus y1
squared. That's it. That is where our distance formula comes from. There's only one other thing we're going to do with it, but I do want you to notice a separate way to do this. Hey Kelsey, head up, try to learn, please. You have a quiz on this tomorrow, and so we're going to practice it for the rest of the day, but you need to pay attention to this. Okay? Using what we learned about rewriting y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1, is there a shorter way that I could write x2 minus x1? What would it be?
Substitute the number.
Say again.
Can you substitute the number there?
Well, but remember, those are only going to be numbers for this one particular case, right? Those aren't the numbers every time. What I'm saying is, was there another way that we wrote this yesterday instead of doing y2 minus y1? Delta.
Y divided by delta x.
So what could I write here instead of x2 minus x1?
Delta y divided by delta x.
So notice delta or d squared is equal to delta x squared.
Delta y squared.
Because again, the reason why I'm doing this is, where does the distance formula come from? Pythagorean theorem. What does this look like? The Pythagorean theorem. That is the reason why I'm doing it this way. Does it matter which one you use?
No.
No. Do you need to know how to find the distance?
Yes.
Yes. I don't care if you use the actual distance formula. Terrence, I'm trying to teach here. Pay attention. Stop distracting students in my class. Is that clear? Thank you, sir. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Can you use the Pythagorean theorem? Yes. Can you write it as d squared equals delta x squared plus delta y squared? Yes. All that we mean by delta x is the what for x? The change. That's it. Or you can use this actual formula known as the distance formula. The only thing is, if you talk to most people, and this is, I understand this, the distance formula usually is written this way. What did they do to get this blue formula? They just took the square root. That's all that they did. So, if you use the distance formula, they've already taken the square root, but I'm going to be real with you. Does that look at all complicated?
What am I looking at?
Yes.
The distance formula. Okay? And this may not be true for you, but legitimately for me, that distance formula was somewhat intimidating the first time I learned it. To me, doing d squared equals the delta x squared plus delta y squared, it reminded me of the Pythagorean theorem and it was easier for me to remember. Doesn't matter which one you use. No, we go with that idea. Any questions? Have we all taken our notes on this so that we can use this tomorrow to help us calculate distance?
Yes.
Because actually, I don't know if I mentioned this to y'all, but I will not be here tomorrow. So you will have to do this. You will have to do this on your own within your small groups.
Do you write the one,
Say again.
do you just write the top?
So what else we gonna do besides take?
Just that?
So you can do the, well, I would write this down or this down. Or both, right? Showing the true distance formula or it written as Pythagorean theorem.
I
Okay.
did the bottom one.
Miss Kim.
Do you hear someone trying to talk to me?
No.
Well, then open your ears. What's your question?
I got it.
Okay. So, really quickly, just a heads up because I forgot I hadn't told y'all this yet. Tomorrow in this class, you will have distance and slope and midpoint things to work on. You will be allowed to work within your small groups. However, I am already talking with the sub and I'm going to make this very clear. If she has to redirect more than 2 people to get to only talk within their group, you will work silently on your own independently for the rest of class. Is that clear, Terrence?
Hey, say, Carl, why you I had to give me? You see that man right here, man? You see him? Why me, son?
Who talks across groups more than you?
Taylor.
That's a whole lot.
Kind of be sleep.
Thank you. He can't talk across groups when he's asleep. Okay,
He sits down and calls
Terrence,
sleep talking.
I'm just. I think everyone in here understands, which is why they all laugh.
Man, say.
If anyone is going to get us in trouble, it's you and there is one other person who is probably walking in the door.
Anton.
Y'all can get off anytime.
Oh God.
So, are you allowed to work within your small groups tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes. Are you allowed to talk across groups?
Yes, sir.
No.
See, I tried
If
to
you
put it
do
in
that-
talking.
The sub will make you work silently and independently tomorrow. Hey.
Sit down, what's that?
Stop, dude. Am I already taking care of it?
I just had to
I was literally taking care of it. Stop. Okay, so you are allowed to work within your groups, not across the groups. You are there to help each other grow and learn. Is that clear?
Yeah.
The sub will be collecting your work at the end of class. That means you need to be working actively the whole time. Is that clear? Any questions? Okay. So let's work on number 5 within your small groups. Okay? Number 5, well, and number 6. Use what you have already done to help you work through numbers 5 and 6. There should be enough people in your group regardless. Yes, sir. No. 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 No.
No.
We don't.
Come on, man.
No.
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 Don't,
You were late to class in the first place. Stop asking. Stop distracting. Get to work. Alright, so which numbers are we working on right now? 5 and 6. There is no number 8 on that page. So, work with your group to work on numbers 5 and 6. It's not that sheet, it's the as the crow flies I gave out yesterday. Let's get to work. I should hear you talking about the math.